Welcome to this video on how to apply for a Countryside Stewardship CS Mid Tier agreement. To make your journey as smooth as possible, it is recommended that you read the What You Can Do Now Before You Apply guidance and the CS Mid Tier scheme information on gov.uk. To start your CS Mid Tier application, sign in to the Rural Payments Service using your existing login details. From the Business Overview page, select Countryside Stewardship and then select Countryside Stewardship Mid Tier Applications. This will take you to the CS Mid Tier Application screen, and from here you can select the Apply for Mid Tier button to create your CS Mid Tier application. It may take a few moments for the application to appear. On the Apply for Mid Tier screen, you will see the steps you need to complete to apply for a CS Mid Tier agreement. As you complete each step, you will be returned to this screen and the step marked as completed. To guide you through the steps, you cannot start a step until the previous step is marked as completed. Step 1, your land and eligibility requirements, is the first section you will need to complete. In this section, you will check and confirm your land details, check your scheme eligibility, and provide an agreement name. Firstly, select Check and confirm your land details. It is important to note that if your land details are not up to date, this will affect which land parcels you can select options against later in your CS mid-tier application. You will only be able to select the land parcels that are linked to your SPI and have an eligible land cover and land use for the options you select. Now, before continuing with your CS mid-tier application, check the land details and the parcels you'll be entering into your application are up to date. In this screen, Your Land Details, a summary is provided of the land parcels linked to your SPI. For more information on each of the land parcels and the land uses, you can use the Grant Finder to find a list of land uses, or use the Land Viewer to check the land parcels are correctly linked to your SPI and the registered land covers and permanent boundaries. Clicking on either the Land Viewer or the Grant Finder will open in a separate browser tab. To close the Land Viewer or the Grant Finder, close the browser tab. If at any point during the application journey you need more information, hyperlinks are provided which will link to the online guidance from gov.uk in a new browser tab. Having checked your land details, if they need to be updated, select No, I need to update my land details, and then select Continue. Follow the on-screen instructions, including the link on how to update your land details provided. If your land details are up to date, select Yes, my land details are up to date, and select Continue. This will take you back to the Apply for Mid-Tier Agreement screen. As you can see, check and confirm your land details is marked as completed, and you are now able to check your scheme eligibility. You must have management control of the land parcels you select in your mid-tier application for the full 5-year duration of the CS mid-tier agreement. If this will not be the case, you must not include that land in your CS mid-tier application. More information on management control of land can be found using the hyperlinks to the online gov.uk guidance. Once you have confirmed you will have management control, you will move to the next eligibility questions. To confirm that you will have management control of the land in your CS mid-tier application, select Yes, followed by the Continue button. If you have land that intersects with any scheduled monuments or historic features, you must confirm that you will request a HEFA for your whole holding and gain the relevant consents for the land in your CS mid-tier agreement. If you do not have any land that intersects with any scheduled monuments or historic features, you will not be presented with this screen. If you confirm you either have or will request a HEFA for your whole holding and gain relevant consents, select Yes, followed by the Continue button. Next, you may be presented with the Sites of Special Scientific Interest, SSSI, consent screen. This screen will only show to you if you have land that intersects with a SSSI. Each SSSI has a list of activities known as listed operations which need Natural England's consent. You must get consent from Natural England before you carry out any of the listed operations within the boundary of your SSSI. You can find more information about listed operations requiring Natural England's consent, as well as how you get consent for these, by selecting the hyperlinks on this page and reading the gov.uk guidance. If you confirm that you either have consent or will give notice and go get consent for a planned activity on a SSSI, select yes and continue to continue with your CS Mid-Tier application. You may also be presented with the Inheritance Tax Exemption screen. This screen will only be presented to you if any of your land intersects with the Inheritance Tax Exemption layer. For more information on what land is ITE and what actions can be and cannot be taken on this land, please read the guidance available on gov.uk. If you are including land in the mid-tier application which is subject to ITE, you must check that the mid-tier options and capital items you intend to apply for are eligible on this land. If you confirm that you will do this, select yes and press the Continue button. Next, you will be taken to the public body screen. Any land owned or run by a public body is not usually eligible for a CS mid-tier agreement. For more information on what is allowed, or if you have any land owned by a public body, select Land Owned by a Public Body hyperlink on this page and be taken to gov.uk for further guidance. If you are a landlord or tenant, you must confirm that you agree to the statements on this screen. If you can confirm, please select Yes and Continue to continue checking your eligibility. If this is not applicable to you and you do not have any land owned by a public body, select Not Applicable and select Continue to continue checking your eligibility. If you select No on this screen, the HEFA, SSSI or ITE screen and select Continue, you will be taken to the You Are Not Eligible for Funding screen. This screen explains you do not meet the eligibility requirements for a CS mid-tier agreement, and you are able to withdraw your application by selecting the red Withdraw button. Alternatively, you can select the Back button to return to the screen you were previously on if you have answered incorrectly. Next eligibility question is in reference to Countryside Stewardship Facilitation Fund. This screen is to check if you are part of a CSFF. If you belong to a CSFF, select Yes, followed by the Continue button. If you do not belong to a CSFF, select No, and then Continue. You will then be asked about catchment-sensitive farming. If you'll be including options and capital items to improve water quality, air quality, or natural flood management in your CS mid-tier agreement, you will need endorsement from your CSF advisor. If you're going to include these options and capital items, you must select Yes. You will have discussed this with your CSF advisor at least 10 weeks before your application. When you select Yes, you will be given two free text boxes, one for your CSF advisor's name and the catchment and river basin name. Once you have inputted this information, you can then select Continue to continue checking your eligibility requirements. If you do not intend to put in any of these options or items, you can select No and press the Continue button. Next, you will be presented with the Organic Land Management Options screen. If you have land that is registered as organic, you may be eligible to apply for Organic Land Management Options alongside your non-organic options in your mid-tier application. If any of your non-organic land management options fail, you may still be able to continue with your organic land options. If you wish to continue with only organic land management options, if your non-organic options fail, select Yes and Continue. If not, select No and the Continue button to continue with your CS mid-tier application. You will then be taken to the You Are Eligible for Funding page. You can now select Continue to continue with your CS Mid Tier application. If you would like to return later, you can select Save and Return Later, and you can come back at any point to continue with your application. Once you select Continue, you will be taken back to the Apply for Mid-Tier Agreement screen, where the next section, Agreement Name, will be available. On this screen, you will be given a free text box where you can enter your agreement name. Your agreement name will appear on your agreement documents. Once you have entered a name, select Update Application to save this name to your application. You will then be taken back to the Apply for Mid-Tier Agreement screen, where you can see Step 1 is now marked as completed, and Step 2, select your options, is available to start. From this screen, you can also select Print Application Documents, which will present to you different documents that you will be able to download by clicking on the links. Step 2 allows you to select your option groups and the individual options within those groups that you would like to put into your CS Mid-Tier application. From this screen, you will be presented with a list of the different option groups available to you based on your land use and land cover. You will be able to filter using this text box for selected, applied, not selected, or all. This will be useful if you are coming back to this page after assigning options to specific parcels later in your application. When you first come into this screen, you will not be able to filter to anything else other than all. In order to select individual options from the option groups categories, please select Show. From here, you will be presented with each option within that category that you can select. To select an option, click in the empty box next to the title of the option you would like to apply to your CS Mid-Tier application. You are able to select as many options as you wish within each option group. If you have decided that you no longer want an option within that option group, just click on the tick box again, and this will remove it from your application. If you would like to apply multiple different option groups and options to your application, you can do so by hiding the original option group list and moving to another option. You can do this for as many option groups as you wish. It is important to note that in order for you to apply for a CS Mid-Tier agreement, you must include at least one revenue option in order to be accepted. If you do not select a revenue option and only select capitals, when you select the Return to Task List button, you'll be presented with an error message that will inform you that you need to select revenue options. Once you have selected all of the options that you wish to apply for, select Return to Task List. Step 2 is now marked as completed, and you are able to begin Step 3. First section that will be available to you is the Apply for Revenue options on your land parcels. This screen will allow you to apply the specific options that you selected on the Step 2 option group screen against specific parcels. Now, in order to select the parcels and the options, you can select the OS map sheet reference from the left-hand side list here, or by using the map. In this screen, you will see a list of different parcels on the left-hand side, as well as a map with the parcels on there. You can either select the hyperlink on the left from the list or using the map. By selecting the parcel reference number, on the right-hand side, the options that are available to apply on that parcel will appear. Only the eligible options that you can apply for against that parcel will appear. To apply an option against the parcel, select the empty checkbox and enter a quantity. As you can see, if you do not enter a quantity, you will be presented with an error message informing you that a quantity needs to be entered. You will not be able to apply this option to this parcel until you have inputted a value. Once you have inputted a value, select Update Options on your land parcel to apply this option to your CS mid-tier application. You now may select the other parcels you would like to apply options against and follow the same process to apply the options. Once you've applied all of the options you wish to against the parcels available to you, select Return to OS Tile Selection. You may then pick another OS map sheet reference and follow the same process to apply additional options to your parcel. Once you have applied your revenue options to your land parcels, the Apply for Agreement level revenue options will be available to you. This will only appear if you have selected Agreement level options in step 2. To apply the option, click the empty text box and input a quantity. To save this on your application, select Update Application. Once you've applied for your agreement level revenue options, you may be able to apply for capital items on your parcels. This will be dependent on whether you selected capital items in step 2. To apply your capital items on your land parcels, you can select the OS map sheet reference on the left-hand side or select it on the map. As with the revenue screen, you will be presented with the list of parcels along the left-hand side from which you can select, or you can select the relevant parcel by using the map. Again, you can select the options you wish to apply against that parcel by selecting the box and entering a quantity. It is important to note that only the options that are eligible for that parcel will be presented to you. If you do not have any eligible options for that parcel, you will be presented with a blank screen. To save these onto your application, select Update Options on Land Parcel, and you can follow this process for any of the parcels you wish to apply capital items to. Once you've applied for your capital items on your parcels, you may also be able to apply for agreement level capital items. This will be dependent on if you selected capital agreement level items. To apply these to your CS mid-tier application, select the blank box and enter a quantity. To save these on your application, select Update Application. As you can see, step 3 is now marked as completed. Step 4 is now available for you to complete. It's important to note another section may be presented to you within step 3 for you to apply your rotational parcels. In step 4, review and submit your application. You'll be able to check your answers and submit your application. First of all, you need to check your answers. This page will display to you all of the options and the information that you have inputted into your application. You are to review this, and if happy with everything that is in there, select Validate. This will run some additional checks and validate your application. The additional checks will run to make sure that your application is able to be submitted. If you have any errors in your application, a warning box will be presented at the top of the page informing you that you need to rectify these errors. If you scroll down, you will see a warning icon next to an option. This is to identify that there is an issue here. In order to make any changes, you can select the Change Hyperlinks to the right-hand side of any title. By doing so, it will take you back to the relevant screen and show you where exactly you need to make any changes. Once you have corrected any errors, return to the Check Your Answers page to review the answers and the changes you have made. If you have made any changes, please select Validate again to make sure your application can now be submitted. If your application is validated successfully, you will be shown with a success text box at the top of the page, informing you that you can now go submit your application. To do this, select Continue, and the Check Your Answers section will now be marked as completed, and you will be able to go to submit your application. Please read the declaration on this page carefully, and you can either agree and submit your application, or you can withdraw your application if you decided that you no longer want to submit and apply for a CS mid-tier agreement. To submit, select I agree, submit my application. This will then submit your CS mid-tier application, and you will be presented with an application submitted page as well as a reference number with some information on what the next steps are. You can also view your application summary from the Countryside Stewardship application screen and download a copy of this. More information on how to apply for a Countryside Stewardship mid-tier agreement, please read the guidance on gov.uk.